So this is my little makeshift greenhouse in my basement where it's really cold, but yet I have all this space that I want to use to grow my veggies somehow. I just don't want all that up in my main rooms. So I'm using this old shower curtain, and I found a lot of uses for old shower curtains. In fact, they fit a 4x4 bed really good in the winter. If I want to protect my soil, a lot of times I'll put this down. And then in the early, February, this will have warmed that soil up so well that the soil is already soft. So I can work my square foot garden really early where the other ground is still hard and frozen. But I'm just going to show you a little peek of my little downstairs greenhouse in the basement. So what I've done is I've just put up some fluorescent lighting here, and I've actually sprouted my tomatoes in vermiculite. And this is a little method that Mel teaches you to do, and it really works well. It actually works better than using, some of the Jiffy pots, or the vermiculite just works very quickly. And it's because it's completely soaked with water. And what you do is you put a container underneath your vermiculite that's full of water so that you have a constant supply of water going into your vermiculite, so it's constantly wet. And so these tomatoes have come up really, really quite fast, I think in less than a week. And then we need to keep our fluorescent lighting quite close to the seedlings, where I've learned from experience, sometimes you can sprout them in your windowsill, or if you've got fluorescent lighting in your kitchen, you can put them on your counter. But they'll start getting tall and spindly because they just don't get quite enough light. So this is what you need to do. Just put the lighting closer. And as they get bigger, just move them down away from the lighting. But so the windowsills and the kitchen lights don't work the best. Try to set up something like this where you can keep them under the fluorescent lights, even in a damp, cold, dark basement. You can do that. So I just keep these lights on 24/7, and they're fluorescent lights. Don't take much electricity at all. In fact, these bulbs, these light fixtures were very inexpensive. I think $5 or $10 a piece. You can tell that these might look a little used because I save all of my little pony packs that I buy. I just stack them and save them and reuse them the next year. You want to wash them out good though. Wash them with soapy water because you don't want any kind of disease that might have formed to pass on to your new soil. So be sure to do that. So these tomatoes I planted in pure vermiculite, and so they're almost like aquaponics where they're growing in water almost. And these taller ones I'm going to need to replant in soil soon. But for now they're just swimming away and loving that water. But this is what my water that I use for my veggies that are in the soil. And it's got just a nice fine spray. And this is what I use to water. And you're going to have to water them consistently, like almost every day for these little seedlings. You're going to need to keep this soil damp. If you've got your seedlings in soil, you've got to keep it damp. Every day, make sure you keep it damp. And so this is really handy. You can just use a little spray bottle as well, but this saves on your hand. Now let's talk a little bit about hybrid seeds and non-hybrid or heirloom seeds. The hybrid seeds have been chemically changed to produce a really good vegetable, but the seeds that are actually that you can actually harvest from that vegetable will not reproduce another vegetable that's very good. So if you want to actually harvest seeds from your vegetables to plant the next year, you want to buy non-hybrid or heirloom seeds, and those will produce a good quality vegetable for you. And we'll probably do another video about that where I'll actually show you the seeds that I've harvested from my bean plants, so that I'm going to plant this year and that I've saved. And you can actually propagate your vegetables and become even more self-sufficient with your seeds. So when I feel like when it's May 15th or after and the threat of frost is over, that's when I will take my tomato plants out maybe a few hours at a time to start hardening them off, because they've been in this really climate controlled area. but I'm going to move them outside now. So we want to, what we call, harden them off and get them used to the outdoor weather. So we'll take them out one day for a few hours, bring them back into the house overnight, take them out the next day for maybe a little longer period, bring them in again for night, and then the third day for several days, do that, and then they'll be hardened and they'll be able to be fine out there in the cool nighttime air. As we talk about hardening our vegetables off, even when we buy them at the garden center, they've had a really nice warm greenhouse there. So unless the garden center has actually brought them outside, you're going to probably want to harden them off when you get home as well. So you'll put those vegetables out in the daytime, out in your yard for several hours, and then bring them back in the house, and then leave them in overnight, and then the next day take them out again for maybe a longer period, and so that they just become acclimated to the outdoors and become more stronger and what we call hardened off, and then ready to plant in your garden.
Keep checking back because Belinda with HomeGardensToGo.com, the square foot gardening expert, will actually be here longer than just this week of square foot gardening classes, but she will be here every week telling us more about gardening and taking us through the entire process all summer long, because you want us to be successful, right?
I do, and I really appreciate you involving me because I'm really excited to help everybody.
So make sure you check out her website, HomeGardensToGo.com. Remember, she has the boxes, the dirt, the weed cloth. She delivers to more than just Utah. But if you do live in Utah, she will actually come and set it up for you and bring the dirt. So for more tips and tricks for using food storage every day, visit www.everydayfoodstorage.net and HomeGardensToGo.com.